Hello, my beautiful soul, and welcome to another episode of Effortlessly Abundant Life. I'm so excited you're here with me for another episode because this one is so good, and I'm not taking it lightly when I say that I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful tools that I know that changed my life, opened myself up to more abundance that I could ever imagine, healed my soul, gave me a sense of peace and ease that you can't even put a number next to it, right? It's just unmeasurable, and how it's just transformed my relationship as well. And same thing for my clients. So if you guys want to know what it is, listen after this intro and join me for the next 30 minutes. Welcome to the Effortlessly Abundant Life podcast, where we will dive into the mindset, spirituality, and practical tools to have more of what you want with less effort. I'm your host, Natalia, a mindset shifter, certified life and success coach, and hypnotherapist who is obsessed with making your life feel good from the inside out. So let's dive in today's episode in 3, 2, 1. So we are entering a very interesting portal right now. And for those who don't know, last week I actually shared with you the power of decision. And the reason why I decided to share this specifically on that period of time is because in the Jewish calendar that is connected to the lunar calendar, it is a new beginning, right? This is symbolized a new beginning, and there's no better way to make new decision when we have in this collective level this new energy, this kind of fresh start that is backed up with the universe. And in this specific time in the Jewish calendar, we are celebrating Yom Kippur. And this is a very powerful time to truly release what is no longer serving us. And one of the most powerful practices that I think is so needed and is so important, and we're going to focus on more today, is the forgiveness part. And I got to tell you, I something about Yom Kippur is just was one of my favorite holidays. I wouldn't just, I went to the shul, I did all those prayers, but for me it was more self-reflection day where I could just disconnect from all the outside noise, just stop literally everything because you're forced to stop. In Israel, when I was living in Israel, there was no cars, no public transportation, nothing was actually working, and you were actually forced to sit at home and just be with yourself because there was no TV shows back then. We didn't really have a cell phone. And even if you have a cell phone, like nothing is actually active. So that was just a time, a really unique time to just be with your thoughts, be with yourself. And a lot of people kind of wanted to just get rid of it and just kind of like wing it by sleeping a lot and just reading their favorite book or just watch a bunch of movies and just get over with. For me, it was just an opportunity to really go deeper within myself, reflect on where I am, where I want to be, and what I need to release. And I believe that this time is a collective. When we all have the same intention, it just brings more of what we want and helps it to come to fruition faster. So today I'm going to talk to you about the power of forgiveness. And this is something that I do with my clients. It's one of the most powerful things that I can tell you that open up for so many of my clients, from myself included, abundance, relationships, opportunities, financial security, all the things that they can want and wish, and not even talking about health. Oh my goodness, right? That just change their life just by doing this practice of forgiveness. And the reason why it's so important to forgive is because, unlike animals that just live their life happily, right? They live very in the moment, right? They're in the now. They just go from tree to tree. If an animal try to eat them, they're not sitting in somewhere, right, and thinking about this animal and being angry at this animal that try to eat them, right? If a zebra sits down and think about the lion and how dare the lion to go and try to eat him and be mad at them and be angry at them, you just don't see that so much in nature, right? But with us human beings, we have this ability, which is a curse and a blessing, to remember and store those traumas, those events, those experiences and memories in our past and bring them to the present moment. And when we hold on to something that happened to us in the childhood, in the past, we are bringing in the anger, the frustration, the just feeling that we've been betrayed in some way or capacity and been mistreated, and we just bring in that vibration and energy and feeling in the current moment. And not only that, it's not serving us, but it's a block that is holding ourselves from be able to feel better, to be this vessel of more abundance. I'm not just talking about financial abundance. I'm talking about relationship abundance, opportunities, anything that abundance symbolized for you, right? Because you are in what frequency? You're in the frequency of not enough. I've been betrayed. I am the victim. I was mistreated. I'm going to hold on to the anger. I'm going to hold on to that event that I was mistreated. And I'm going to punish that person by showing them and myself how angry I am and how I'm not happy with what they did. And the only person, and you probably heard it, we all know it's almost like a cliche, but we forget that we're not punishing anybody by holding on to the anger, holding on to the feeling of being mistreated. We are the ones who are hurting ourselves because we are what? Experiencing ourselves in any given moment. So when we are experiencing ourselves in any given moment and feeling like victims, we feeling like we gave our power away. We feel like this thing that happened in the past is actually ruling ourselves in the moment. It doesn't allow us to see life clearly, to experience people that are in our life in a more loving, open way. We don't allow money to flow from to us or ideas to come to us because what? Our focus in what? And vibration is where? In the lower frequency, in the place of victimizing, of guilt, of shame, of anger, all these low vibration energies that just money is not a match to, right? Abundance is a match to what? To ease, to flow, to freedom, to feeling lighthearted, to feel joy. That is where money wants to flow into. So when you are not forgiving your parent for mistreating you, or you're not forgiving your ex, or you're not forgiving your girlfriend or your coworker or your boss, or whatever that person in your life that you right now feeling some type of way, you are only doing something bad for yourself. And I'm not saying that you should not be angry or you should just, of course you're going to be angry in your life. But the question is, when are you willing to let it go and forgive? And I think this is the time to really pay attention to what is holding you back. What is that type of person? What happened in the past that still runs your show, your life, and prevents from you receiving the type of abundance and experience life in a free way? And I'm going to tell you something very interesting that happened to me and why I believe so strongly about this. So for those who don't know, when I was engaged before my relationship, and I was, being with this guy for 5 years. I was engaged. I moved back to Israel for him after my undergrad studies because I wanted to start a family with him and he didn't want to stay here. And I just literally moved my whole entire life back to Israel. Deep down, I didn't really want to do it, but I did it because I just wanted to be with him. And I thought that I'll be okay because still I'm with my parents. My parents live in Israel. It's going to be easier for me. But I kind of deep down felt like I'm going backwards, right? Once you go out to the world, especially New York City, no city in the world, nothing can just be even in the same level. And I just lived with him for a year and I found a job. I was actually a director in sales in a dental office. Yes, so random, I know. But I always find myself somehow in sales in some way capacity. It's just the way it is. And I was also teaching voice and, I was always doing a lot of things at once. And when I came back with him, because we decided to come back, I decided to go back to my master's. He kind of decided that he don't want to do his business in Israel anymore, and he has a new opportunity came up here. So we actually decided to move back to New York City. And in between, I just felt this like, I don't know, you just feel something was off. And I was feeling this type of way that he's not as calling as much. And I actually found one of his tablets that he forgot, and I saw his correspondence with somebody in Facebook that obviously wasn't me and was very inappropriate. And I decided to just kind of close my eyes on that, right? And I still kind of was holding on to that idea of what he is and kind of brushing it off. And I still decided to come back to New York and be with him and live with him. And during those 2 years, it was really, really, really hard. It got to the point of him going out and coming back at 6 a.m. in the morning, 6:30 a.m. in the morning on a weekday. And it was just, I just found myself in a relationship that I just I'm not happy anymore, but I'm there because, first of all, he was my only family. We had 2 dogs together. I'm by myself in New York City. I don't have I have my few friends, but I didn't have a family. I didn't have anybody I can just say, I need a place to crash. And I just felt kind of trapped, right? I felt trapped in this whole relationship. And I was also a student, and he was working full time. I was working part time, and I just knew it would be very hard for me to support myself with my part time salary and having a dog and just school and everything was just too hard. So I just stayed for convenience. And I'm just being very vulnerable and just sharing with you my truth because I know I'm probably not alone. And a lot of times we stay in a place that is not serving us because it just feels comfortable and not because it's ideal. And after a certain time, I just I just knew he was cheating on me. I just knew something was off and he was really, really nasty to me. And one day it was just so bad. I remember he came back from a trip that he didn't want me even to join him. And he came back and his phone was ringing and there was text messages and this girl that he was texting with, and she was texting, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to move to New York with you. And I'm like, what is going on in here? And when he came out of the shower, I told him, I was like, what is this? Oh, she's a girl from my office. I'm just flirting with her. Nothing serious. Don't pay attention. It's just something for business because I need her to like me. And this is going to help me to close a deal. something so random, so like crazy, but I kind of like, I just don't know what to believe. And I just knew that I can't take it anymore, because I came to the point where I was just like, I wasn't even living. I was just surviving. I remember I went to CVS and I just tried to find some kind of pills to numb myself, so I don't feel this pain in my chest and this like grief and this like constant like I was always moving between anger to sadness to betrayal to, and I just didn't understand, what did I do wrong? Like, how he could do this to me after the person that I helped him to become, and me doing all the things in the house and cooking for him and cleaning and giving him a home and supporting him and loving him and just be there for him and be his best friend. And we were best friends. Like, he was my best friend back then. And I just couldn't understand, how could he do that to me? And when I finally decided to leave, it was really, really hard for me to make that decision. And that's where, I talk about, like, we make changes when the current reality is too hard and too unbearable, and in comparison to what the change requires from you. So I literally remember calling my friend at a time, and I just told her, listen, I need a place to crash. She's like, I don't have a place. I just rented my other room to another friend of mine, but you can, I guess, sleep on a couch. And I said, okay, perfect. And I'll pay you for that. Like, I don't want you to feel like I want you to know that I really appreciate it, but I will pay you for that. And that's what happened. I slept in a couch with my dog. I worked double shifts, guys. Like, I was finishing my master's in education, which required for me so much. If people knew how much effort and time it just takes to do an education degree, it just will blow your mind. So I would sit like working all day in my teaching job, go to my second job in my sales position, and then I would sit back working on my assignments, working on my finals, working on all the things. And on top of that, I had shows that I was part of because I'm a singer. For those who don't know, I'm an opera singer. So I had like productions that I was part of. So I would do all these things to kind of like forget, like just, I wasn't even like thinking. I didn't have time to think because I was just on the go, 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 go. And I just I remember that day that I just crashed. I just remember a day that I crashed because I couldn't go anymore. And I didn't really processed anything that happened to me, right? Like the whole thing with my ex-fiance, I didn't process none of that. I was just like going and going and going. And when I decided to really heal my life, to really stop this cycles that were running me for years, I decided that I have to forgive, especially him. If I want to find the love of my life, if I want to experience more abundance in my life, I have to forgive. And that's where it was really, really hard for me to make that call after a year or so, I believe, into my healing process. I just reached out to him and I said to him, listen, I need to see you in person and I want to speak to you. And he kind of like said, yeah, sure. And I don't know, it felt really weird to me and really, really hard for me. For my ego, it was just like, holy shit, are you going to contact him and see him in person and tell him you're sorry? Holy crap, like, are you crazy? But if I didn't do that, guys, I would be still single till this day. If I didn't do that, this whole thing that happened to me will still run me versus me running it. And this is my biggest advice for you. Not let your ego, not let the injustice was done to you to make you feel like crap, like for the rest of your life. It's just not worth it. this thing that happened to you, like what happened to me, obviously had nothing to do with me, right? I couldn't be any more perfect. I did everything I could in this relationship, but I was just with the wrong person. He was not meant for me. God, universe, source, just took it out of me on force. It forced me to leave him because I wouldn't do it on my own. Like I would stay with that person for the rest of my life, but he was not the right person for me. But yet he had such an important part of my healing journey of where I am today and teaching me so much actually about relationship, about taking ownership on my part of that relationship that I wasn't perfect as I thought I was, and also learning about myself. He just played a role in my lesson that I needed to acquire and know about and understand in a way that nobody would else could teach me. But it's just a lesson. It's nothing personal. It was nothing, obviously it was done knowingly what he did, but he didn't do it just to hurt me. He did it because he was hurt. He didn't know how to deal with the situation, right? But if I would let this run me and I would sit bitter and think all men are cheaters, all men are bad, all men don't care, I am worthless, I am not even worthy of loving, I would be sitting by myself for the rest of my life, single, bitter, angry, most likely sick. And what would that do? Would it punish him? Would it change anything for his reality? And to be honest with you, deep down, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I want him to be happy because you know what? When you love somebody truly, you want the best for them. Even if this person you don't love them or it's not like somebody you had a romantic relationship with, deep down we don't want anything bad to happen to that person or anything because it doesn't really do anything for us. This is your ego wants to see other people suffer. But it's not going to make this situation or anything for yourself to feel better. So when I approached him and I met him and I told him that I'm sorry for my part in the relationship and I want to really close this chapter and I want to close this whole thing because it happened really like I left the house. I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I just blocked him. I didn't have a closure with him. And for me to take ownership on my part of the relationship and for asking for forgiveness, he didn't say anything about him asking sorry about what he did to me. And I didn't care because actually I did it for myself. I did my part and I already forgave him because I don't need him to tell me that he's sorry for me to forgive him. And this is the biggest thing that I want you to know. The people that hurt you the most likely will not ask for forgiveness. And maybe if they will ask for forgiveness, it's not going to be the way that is going to make you feel like you truly can forgive them. Forgiveness is you between yourself, always and always and always. And when you understand that you are the one who's perceiving it, you are the one who's experiencing it, and therefore you're the one who's responsible for how you feel, and you're the one who needs to forgive those people and yourself for the way you're experiencing them and yourself in any given moment. So don't wait for anybody to come to you and say, I'm sorry. For you to feel free, for you to feel good, for you to be open for the next best thing that is meant for you. Just because you think you're punishing them, you're not punishing anybody else but yourself. I can't stress it enough. So after that, after I forgave him and I told him what I told him, I closed that chapter. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. That was like literally ego death for my soul to go out of my way to tell the things that I said. And he tried to reach out once, I think, but I it didn't even matter at this point. I was just like so happy. I felt like 10 tons of, just of weight just were lifted out of my chest, out of my body. And I kid you not, I met my husband very shortly after. I experienced more abundance through all kinds of things, right? If it's through America's Got Talent, going on this show, through the just like my business more thriving, my money, financial reality is upgraded, opportunities in my jobs, like things are just coming to me easily. And the biggest win is this sense of, no matter what, I have myself. I have this power in me that nobody can control me and how I feel about myself. Yes, people can hurt me, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to allow them to stay in my frequencies, to stay in my energy, to stay in my being and allow them to run me and control me. I always have the control of how I want to feel and how I want to be. And I choose to forgive so I can live in a free state of mind. And this is the biggest gift of all, guys. Now, if you feel you are the one who caused someone pain, knowingly or unknowingly, know that it's never, ever, ever too late to ask for forgiveness, but truly from your heart. And moreover, ask forgiveness from yourself. Because I feel so many times we are so hard on ourselves, feeling we didn't do enough, we didn't say the right thing, we weren't fast enough, we weren't good enough, or whatever the case may be. I want you to take a second and realize how you couldn't do anything better than what you did. Everything that happened meant to happen for you either to learn a lesson or it was just the way it was. And put a meaning of I could have do better. It has just absolutely no purpose other than hurting yourself. So forgiving yourself, forgiving others, forgiving God for maybe you think that maybe you should have received something that you didn't receive, or things were done in a way that you were just disappointed and you're mad at God. Maybe you're mad at Source and you say, hey, like, I did what I thought that I should do. I did my part and still didn't get the thing. What is going on in here? Maybe you feel like nobody really hears you or listens to you. But how hard it feels to feel alone. How hard it feels to know that you don't even have what created you that makes your heart beat right now feel like it's against you. It's such a hard feeling to feel truly alone, and it's far from the truth. You're always, always so, so loved. Like God loves you the way it loves his favorite child. Not favorite child like among other children, but in a way that you are here for a reason. You are an extension of Source. And when you become an extension of Source, it wants only the best for you. It wants truly everything for you, better than you can think for yourself. And sometimes we don't understand the bigger picture. We don't understand the bigger plan. We don't understand. But knowing and deciding that everything that is happening right now, the things that we perceive as good or bad, is always for us, to grow us, to evolve us, to give us, to enrich us. And it's always up to us how we choose to perceive it. What is the story we're telling about this event is always up to us. But forgiving anything that makes you feel like a victim, that makes you feel like not good about life, forgive it. Forgive it. Give yourself this gift of forgiveness so you can truly experience yourself, others, and life the way you should be. So I encourage you, think about one person that you want to truly forgive. Even if you think you forgave that person, but somewhere still in your heart you feel this type of way about this person, take a moment, write down a letter to that person. If you feel comfortable to go and actually give them a call or see them in person, obviously it's the best. But if whatever reason it's not something that is available, always know that it's the intention that is the powerful thing here. Is not, if you don't have the ability to see them in person, that's not makes it less effective. But it's about you intentionally putting this energy out, you allowing that energy to release from you so you can open yourself up to something new and better. So write down a letter to that person as if you're talking to them. Write to them how they hurt you, but how you're choosing to see them in a different way. You choose to see them in a way that is love, that is forgiving. You are choosing to start a new way between you guys. And it doesn't mean you're going to be best friends again or you allowing them to back in your life, but you just releasing them and thanking them for the lessons, for the gifts, so you can no longer hold to the pain, hold on to the story that is ultimately hurting you. And after you write this letter, either you can send it to them or just let it be. And by the intention of releasing them, trust me, on the other line, they're going to feel it energetically too. They're going to be released from this karma as well. And after you do this letter for yourself as well. And the most powerful thing you can do after you write this letter, same way how you write to a different person, to yourself, how you matter yourself, how you actually decided to forgive yourself, how you choose to see them in a different light, in a more positive light, a more loving light, and how you starting a new way between yourself and yourself. Read it out loud in front of yourself, looking at the mirror. You're gonna witness so much release, so much freedom. And the more you're gonna ask for this forgiveness within yourself, within others, you are the ones who's going to experience miracles, because there's nothing more powerful than forgiving. That is the true courageous thing to do. That is truly the hardest thing to do, to kill your ego, to kill what is technically going to make you look weak. But no, you understand that on an energetic level, this is the hardest, the most courageous thing that so many people are not willing to do, and willing to die on that hill of ego, of being right, but yet they're the ones who are suffering mentally, emotionally, and also physically. Because guess what? This pain and this anger is going to manifest through heart disease, through stomach problems, through all kinds of chronic diseases that are true connection, and they're connected deeply to those anger, to those forgiveness. And I remember listening to one of the podcasts, I forgot her name, but she was talking how she was angry at her mom and how she mistreated her throughout her childhood. And her mom, obviously she did the best she could with what she had, but she was traumatized as well. And she, not a lot of people, the way we are now, I feel like this generation is really taking ownership on themselves and generational trauma and taking ownership of their healing, and not wanting to pass more trauma to the next generation. And she did all the work to heal and forgive, and she decided to start this journey of healing only after she got cancer. She got colon cancer stage 4. And the day she started and decided to forgive her mom truly, she experienced so much release. And she's still in the healing process, but it's just amazing to see how everything is actually manifesting through her physical body as well. Your body, as I always say, that is a reflection of your subconscious mind. Okay, so if you are experiencing pain, or some kind of disease, especially chronic diseases, it's connected deeply to your childhood or some kind of trauma or something you're not willing to let go and forgive. And the second you're going to make that decision that you are more important than the event or that thing, and you want to experience life free with love and open heart, and you don't want to live life through the lens of what happened to you and always be a victim of that and not take full ownership and power and take your own power back, you're just going to experience a miserable life for the rest of your life. And you are worthy of better life, but you're the only one who can decide that and do the things that it takes to feel truly, truly free. So I hope you guys loved this episode. I truly hope you understand how important it is. And if you feel called to, or you know somebody that needs to hear this, they are very stubborn, feel free to send them and share this episode too. And I wish in everybody that you will feel the gratitude, the ease, the freedom, the sense of relief, of true forgiveness to yourself, to others. And may this open you up for more abundance that you can ever imagine and bring you everything that you want into your reality faster and better. And if you want to dive deeper, if there is something that is very hard for you to forgive and let go, and you need somebody to help you, to walk you through, I offer right now 2 ways to work with me in my private coaching. So either you can book a single session with me. This is a time where we can really dive into specifically addressing one thing, clearing that up so you can experience more abundance in your life. If it's in relationship, if it's financial abundance, if it's opportunities, if it's health, whatever that is. Or you can also apply to work with me 3 months for 3 months. And this is a very in-depth work where we really cleaning you up energetically, subconsciously, mentally, physically, to open yourself up to more abundance you can ever, ever, ever freaking imagine. This is honestly a very transformative work that I do, and it's unlike anything you've seen before. It's using my bridge method that I combine proven, powerful, potent tools to clean and clear yourself up from any limited beliefs, any traumas, anything that happened to you in the past, physically, mentally, emotionally, so you can experience yourself as a free individual and a version of yourself that is attracting abundance on autopilot, attracting clients on autopilot, attracting opportunities on autopilot, just feeling like everything comes to her easily and it just magically appears in her life, and she's just happy. She just enjoys life. She wakes up with a smile. She goes sleep with a smile. She just loves her life. She's just in love with her life and herself and the people around her. So if that's something that you feel called to, go ahead and apply. Everything is in the show note, in the description bar below. And with that, guys, I love you so, so much. And I'll see you in our next episode. Goodbye.